My name is Immaculate Mukasa, the Programs Director at MEMPROW, the Mentoring and Empowerment Program for Young Women. MEMPROW was established in 2008. The purpose is to support young women, girls and young women, to achieve their aspirations in life and live a violent-free environment.
Okay, my name is Lilian Naruga. I work with MEMPROW and a counselor. I'm also in charge of the Sexual Reproductive Health and Rights Program. We conduct this program in 3 universities, that is Makerere, Chambogo, and Kampala International University. Before this program, we conducted a baseline survey in these 3 universities. We visited their health centers, and we found out that the health centers did not have youth-friendly services for those young women in the universities. And so we decided to roll out that program in the universities, and it's usually a 5 days training.
I met MEMPROW from Kampala International University in 2017. They came to do the sexual reproductive health rights for 5 days, and I was part of it.
I joined MEMPROW in 2016 while at Chambogo University, whereby they taught us and trained us in various things like sexual reproductive health and rights.
So we have so many topics, all aimed at enabling young women gain confidence to access reproductive health services in the universities.
I met MEMPROW in 2015 at Chambogo University during the sexual reproductive health trainings that we had. We learned a lot. We learned basically that time we learned about patriarchy, and I learned that girls have the same rights as boys. So anything a boy can do, a girl can do as well. But what stood out for me the most was reproductive health. I learned a lot about myself, my body. There are so many things they teach us in school, but there are others that they don't actually tell us about our bodies.
Our main training component is called social survival skills training for young girls.
MEMPROW met us at Stay High 2010 under the program of social survival skills, which we learned how to fight violence in girls.
The girls, the moment they reach puberty stage, some cultures think about marrying them off.
In our family, we are 4. So out of the 4, I was the only girl in the family. So they say that for me, I'm just consuming the fees for nothing. I have to go and do what? I have to go and marry in order to bring in money for my brother to go and study.
I tried to go to my father asking for money to buy parts. My father could just say, "You have now reached the age of marrying."
We also find that in most schools, the leadership positions are accorded to boys. For example, the head prefect in most schools is a boy, the timekeeper is a boy. Plus many other issues that we have been able to talk about to the girls to help them survive through school and also survive the challenging patriarchal community environment.
Actually, I have a lot to say. MEMPROW has done so much in my life. At first, I could walk just my head down. But since MEMPROW came into our school, I started walking while my head is up. And due to that training again, I have learned how to make my own mind map. I have learned that due to that mind map, I have a greater future if I really make it very well.
During the MEMPROW training, I learned how to overcome the violence and how to not be stressed, to overcome the stresses.
Some of the results that we have already realized in the schools that we have been to are increased confidence and self-worth among girls.
After the training, the social survival skills training, I became confident. I had a mindful mind. I could speak out whenever I was in trouble.
Before I joined MEMPROW club, I used to fear to go to senior women teacher, but now I can go. Even I feel confident to ask for pads from my parents.
Before the MEMPROW training, I was so fearful
I could not even look into people's eyes, but now I have the confidence to look at people, to speak to them, to talk to them, to share something with them.
Way back when I joined MEMPROW, I used to be someone who is shy. I used not to be confident. But MEMPROW has really taught me that I'm a woman of value.
Reflected in them competing for leadership positions.
I'm the Deputy Guild Speaker at Chamberg University. I'm the GRSC for my Hall of Residence. I am the MEMPROW coordinator. I hope I haven't said that. And I also have other leadership portfolios in Chamberg University. And this all was because of MEMPROW.
Through the leadership trainings that I've had with MEMPROW, with those skills, I've been able to apply them at my workplace. And with that, I was able to be recognized as someone that can lead. So I was even been able to get the position of an assistant in charge.
I'm working alongside with Fresh Diary Uganda, and it was all came as a result of MEMPROW, because as I applied for that job, they did not even ask me for anything to do with my papers. When I came, they only needed one certificate that was something to do with leadership.
The MEMPROW training, which is social survival skills, helped me to build courage. I competed and stood for leadership. That is, I am a prefect in charge health.
After the coming of MEMPROW, I can even campaign in front of the audience. Like right now, I'm even a prefect. Thanks.
And when it comes to my workplace, I've really been recognized as someone with good leadership skills. And wherever I go, I'm given to be in a leadership position. With MEMPROW, I gained the skills of leadership, whereby I was told, I was trained about how women can also involve themselves into leadership.
We have also seen girls participate in co-curricular activities that was not before. For example, sports. Many girls are participating in football. Here every year we have an annual competition where girls participate in the sports gala. And some schools have actually taken on establishment of a formal football club for girls. One of those schools is Bishop Cyprian Chihangere Secondary School. The boys have also increasingly contributed to protection of girls from abuse.
I joined MEMPROW in 2011, just fresh from the university. And back then, there were not so many men in MEMPROW. So we start up in 2013, what we call the Table of Men, by our late dad, Mr. Tadria, and up to now we are still running it as the Table of Men. The Table of Men educates men on how we should treat women.
I came to know MEMPROW through a friend who had called me to come for a dialogue here, which for the first time that very day changed my belief that anything that is wrong, and it has made me to go and talk to my fellow friends who are females at school, that they can stand on what is right and speak for themselves.
I've learned to fight for girls. Gone are the days when at school I used to just look at a teacher, oh, my fellow boy bullying a girl, and I just say it's fine. After all, she's not my sister. And then one question that doctors one day mentioned was, how would you feel when the girl that is being mistreated is your sister, is your mother, or a relative of yours? And in my heart, I was like, I wouldn't feel fine. So I started learning that girls are people like us.
Sometimes we used to abuse girls in classes, like ignoring their rights. Like when maybe someone is giving answer, we can start shouting or now undermine her, and she'll become childish. And we have stopped with those things. We started encouraging them to avoid bad things.
I used not to respect their rights, but when we have gone through the training, I started respecting their rights. Even up to now, I can help them in classes, like in some subjects like mathematics.
And the girls say that yes, they feel safe at school. Their dropout rates have reduced, the teenage pregnancies have reduced.
We used to have a lot or many pregnancies
every term at least, there will be dropout of the girls from school, especially the senior ones and the senior twos, and then some few with senior three. But I've realized that right from last year we have not experienced any case of pregnancy in the school, and if they are there, they are really very few.
And their performance has greatly improved.
I used not to perform well in class, and now really I can compete with boys.
I'm performing well in class, competing with boys.
Girls have progressed in their careers.
I own a company called Fabulous Innovations Limited. Fabulous Innovations Limited is a company that makes great detergents, liquid soap, bar soap, bathing soap, candles, and also jelly. Our major aim is to give back to the community the best way we can, and this is because of MEMPROW.
Right now, as I speak, I am I'm the PR coordinator of Ati and Kati, and I'm working alongside with Fresh Diary Uganda, and it was all came as a result of MEMPROW.
I love business because I grew up from a crafting background. So MEMPROW has given me all the skills to work with other young people out there and empower them in skills so that they are able to actually live a meaningful life on the economic side of it.
It was through those dialogues that I was able to start my business, and that is the Weston Investments Limited, and I deal in stationery on Dasa Road.
Many girls have become members of the feminist movement because as we engage them, we also talk about feminism, the need to be able to recognize injustices faced by you, the lady, you, the woman, you, the girl, or your fellow colleague.
MEMPROW has taken me through the journey of feminism, which has really helped me in my personal life. When I came to MEMPROW, I was empowered and started my business because I got to know that if you are financially stable, most of the patriarchal pillars can be broken because of your independence. I started up a business of shoes, and where right now I currently employ 3 women.
Coming here, I learned a lot about feminism. Like I had had a few things about feminism, but I got to really learn the cores, the principles of feminism, of sisterhood, inclusivity.
I am impressed and I'm happy that MEMPROW is such a very great organization that doesn't exclude any other person depending on how you look, how you walk, how you come. So it is so good that they include every other human being, be it you are disabled, they include you and they guide you.
MEMPROW programs involve all people regardless of who they are. The first time I came to participate in MEMPROW activities, they gave me reasonable accommodation. To this I mean giving me a personal assistant. The fact that I can't do everything myself and I was in a new place, I needed somebody to help me. And MEMPROW was able to cater for that person.
So in my journey as a feminist, I really come to realize that women's issues are really human rights, because many times women are made to be lowered down. They are made to believe that they really have this very low status in society. So when I came to MEMPROW, I really realized that actually women matter.
MEMPROW helped me to know who I am. My mission in life is to help women understand themselves and to live to their best purpose.
While MEMPROW was supporting girls in school, we realized that the dropout rate, especially in West Nile, cannot be at 0. This is because of the inbuilt cultural practices that involve marrying off girls. Once the girl is 14, she's prepared for marriage and she's married off.
Answer my yes.
When I got pregnant,
I
was chased to go back to my husband's place.
girls have dropped out of school, they are back to their parents with babies.
After the senior 4 vac, I was in that bad groups. I had to leave home after quarreling with my mom. I escaped and I went to Kampala, where I got someone and I was staying with. Accidentally I conceived. I gave birth. When I came back home, just after those hard times that I was having at that home, said no, a parent will always remain a parent. I had to leave home. I had to leave that place. I came back home to my parents.
I joined a certain group in the school because I couldn't even imagine, I couldn't even have money for buying sanitary pads because my mom couldn't make that. She could just go in people's garden and also starve for us looking for food. I happened to get a boyfriend. After getting a boyfriend, indeed I conceived. After conceiving, that's when I happened to know that the life is really hard.
So we have engaged girls and helped them to realize their worth. Yes, they got pregnant, they have babies, but they don't need to face the stigma the rest of their life. So we have engaged girls in social survival, life skills, and also entrepreneurship to make sure that they're economically empowered.
Giluong Washidi sub-county.
They took us to the sub-county.
Giponj waponji piyenga shell.
We were trained for 1 week.
Gimi kwa sente moko ming'iewo piny matin machalo sabuni gi omo gi kubongo.
And they gave us some money for buying some stuff.
Yoking'e eche work plan mwatimo pod wafuru giduog giluong wadog chien. Gigam gishaka penyo ni adana di magitie kumitu midog chien school. Ule maneno ni aber tie lempa MEMPROW. Agama par ni amaka dog chien school.
And during our meetings, we were asked as to how many are willing to go back to school. And I saw there is a benefit of going back to school.
Agama yie ipine duogu cheni school. Gigam gishwako ni akajo magiye ni agiduogu cheni school. Gikonyo gikusente misholo school.
I accepted to go back to school and they supported me in school by paying my school fees.
Through the training we underwent with MEMPROW, they advised me to go back to school. Not only that, they were able to pay my first term's school fees.
Ogama beli do imre deko LC1 ogam binu po ani agemito jomonyo sub-county.
We were then informed that there's child mothers are needed in the sub-county.
Ogama shidu piyenga share.
We went and we were trained for 1 week.
Ogama wase wamitu podo piyeka dek.
We came up with a work plan of 3 acres of land for plowing.
Ekari bedo pongora, eka shelo bedo palande.
2 acres for cassava, 1 acre sing-sing.
Parmi dok school gipenji wa ikinda nyire chania. Ujua udana di umito dok school.
We were asked how many of us were willing to go back to school.
Ibongo parish bongo gama bedo wana nyirare.
We were only 2 in my parish who were willing to go back to school.
Wagama chako somo.
And we started going to school.
Jodongo ne gang gibiki surely was school fees.
And MEMPROW paid our school fees.
I started a small-scale business whereby I could go and to the market via Tuesdays. I collect some silver fish from other people who have big sales. In a certain amount, I could sit down. Via those days, I do sell, and the profit we get, I do what? I do estimate and I keep.
Today, I'm happy because I know I have a bright future.
So I could thank MEMPROW for a wonderful organization they brought for us. Thanks.
You know, I have a heart full of joy, a mind open with my eyes less biased, ears clear to listen and with more thoughts to think about the times to come. When I say thoughts to think about the times to come, I mean a colorful, bright future. I don't mean attaching myself to someone who will make me feel like he's the whole world to me, yet I'm actually nothing to him. He'll tell me words like, Hawa, if you're not my girl, then my life has no meaning. If I ever lost you, then I would never breathe. Yet he's physically saying the same words to some other 1, 2, 3, or 4 girls. Ignorant girl consoles herself with excitement while behind her back he exclaims, I've got you. And because he assumes he thinks smarter, he will look out for the smallest mistake you make to become the reason you break up. He'll call you words like you're such an insolent, pathetic bitch, and some others that are too strong for my tongue to speak. Innocent girl distorts, for her life is no longer in order. Her life is no longer in order. Her mind is filled with regrets. Her eyes are filled with tears only because she believed in yummy, sweet, twisted lies, and now she feels like strangling herself with ties. So I become the next victim. You tell me the same vibing lines, you know. Fortunately, you do not know that I know them. Well, I'm not just like any other girl. I am a MEMPROW girl. What I'm saying is I am too smart to be seduced by you. You know, I never drink, so I'm ever sober. So my frontal cortex is ever functioning, and my reasoning capacity is its content. So you forget that I reason better, and I know that you will hook up with your friends for a drink up and I become the laughing stock? Hell no. I also want to finish high school without any guy calling me his ex, without regrets in my life, without believing in yummy, sweet, twisted lies. However, I want to finish high school with success opening its gates wide for me, ready to embrace, with a mind open and a heart less biased, with a cute smile on my face saying I made it. And so I still stand my ground. I am an empowered, effective teenager, so don't mess with me.